Velveteen Dream has released an apology video, a top name is expected to return to WWE, and Andrade has released a statement regarding his AEW departure. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Hello everybody, it's Jack and Adam with the wrestling news. We'll start with the top name expected to return to WWE. Adam, who is the top name?
We are talking about Trinity Fatu, formerly known, of course, as Naomi. You got very excited there. That was nice.
I wasn't expecting this.
No?
No, genuinely. No, I know, but prior to reading these notes and seeing the story, I was quite surprised just because of the acrimonious nature of her departure. And even though she's clearly very talented, the fact that the Mercedes Moné talks had reportedly broken down, and I don't think it's controversial to say that Mercedes is one of the biggest stars in women's wrestling, and you could argue that Trinity's maybe a little bit below that, but I wouldn't be against this at all, though.
No, not at all. Shauna Ross Sapp of Fightful tweeting, sources within WWE and Impact, of course, which is where Trinity is right now, tell Fightful Select that they expect Trinity Fatu to return to WWE, barring unforeseen circumstances. WWE has long had major interest in bringing her back. I think this is great, obviously, for Naomi. I feel a little bit sorry for Impact, now TNA, in this whole thing, to be honest, because she's been such a featured, prominent star for them. I think it'll be a massive loss for the Knockouts division. And
just off the heels of Deonna Purrazzo's contract expiring as well.
So that's another big one, isn't it? Gone. Yeah.
And we often talk about how when WWE and then AEW have had ups and downs over the past few years, but the thing everybody always says about Impact or TNA is that they've managed to somehow remain quite consistent throughout. And one of their big strengths really has always been their women's or their Knockouts division. And now they'll have lost if this is true, they'll have lost two major players in a very short space of time.
Yeah, you can't blame Naomi for wanting to go back, obviously. I imagine the money will be better, especially upon her return. Obviously, her husband is there as well. But she's gone away and she's just done incredible work. I've read a few interviews from some of the TNA wrestlers, and they weren't just bigging up the fact that they got Trinity, they got Naomi, but also they were saying what a joy she's been to work with.
Oh, right.
And you never really, until the end, until the walkout and everything, you never heard a bad word, did you? And you know what? Like the walkout, it was creative frustration. They wanted to do more, and they weren't being allowed to do more. So I sort of get that as well.
And whether or not you agree with it being expressed in the right way, I don't think anybody disagreed, or really many people disagreed with the fact that creatively the women's division was undergoing another dip again at that time.
Especially the tag team division. It's been gashed for a long time, hasn't it?
Everybody does say nice things about Trinity, including our own Tom Campbell, who said she was a delight to work with on the Impact tour that he did.
Lovely.
And said that, was it her or was it someone else? One of the wrestlers thanked him when they got off the bus thinking he was the driver, but he just announced them in the ring.
Was he wearing his flat cap? That'll do it.
That would have done it if he was. And doing his bit where he's,
it was. I remember him saying that was Trinity. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he was the flat cap. Another big name, which I think most people now believe really is heading to WWE now, is Andrade. He just left AEW, and he's released a statement on Instagram regarding this departure from the company.
Saying, I want to thank you all for this time that I belong to the company AEW, and above all to Tony Khan. I also want to say goodbye to all the talent, security people, cameramen, referees, and everyone who works in the company for being part of my time in AEW. Kenny, Young Bucks, Taz, Schiavone, Aubrey, Jerry, Hobbs, Hook, Kingston, Ricky, Orange, Thunder, Jack Perry, Austin, Colton, Sonjay, and many more that I could name. Many more. I've done a few. And also to forget all the Mexicans.
How to forget all the Mexicans?
How could I do that?
He's not just saying, I'm the only good one of the Mexicans on the roster. So he said, how could I forget?
You missed a very important word there, didn't I? I enjoyed sharing the ring with Sting, obviously famous Hispanic talent, Sting, Pac, Darby, Garcia, Jay, and many more. I would have loved to have faced Mox, Paige, Hobbs, Ricky, Dante, Cage, Dustin. Thank you, AEW, and thank you to all the fans for your support always. I wish you the best always. Really classy statement,
really was.
Nice.
Andrade joined AEW in 2021. His final match, of course, was a loss to Miro at this past weekend's World's End event when CJ Perry shockingly turned on him.
Couldn't believe it.
Sided with her husband. Tony Khan confirmed Andrade's departure at the World's End media scrum afterwards before wishing him well. And he was also it was a kind of a very positive departure as well. He said he's always welcome to come back. Yeah. And I know they say that when you leave a job. They said that to me when I left the Debenhams Cafe. But you know what? I like to think they meant it. You know, I really do.
You should do it.
Yeah, I should go back.
I mean, I think the way that they presented him in that
anymore. Sorry,
they presented Andrade in that final match, because they could have done like the WWE thing and squashed someone on the way out, and I don't think anybody would have blamed them. Make Miro look the absolute bollocks, but they didn't do that. They gave him a long competitive match. And they obviously, even despite all of the reported backstage stuff that had gone on and the sort of controversies there, the arguments, they still made him look good.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool, isn't it?
I think likewise as well. On the flip side of things, I was listening to the Wrestling Observer Radio after World's End, and Alvarez and Meltzer were talking about how he didn't look like a guy on his last night in the company. He gave full effort in that match. He was flying all over the place. So yeah, it seems like it's gone as well as it could have done.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. When do you see him popping up? Rumble?
Oh yeah, maybe. Now that he didn't arrive at day one, which everyone seemed to think was going to happen.
He was at the pictures.
Oh.
Saw a fan tweet saying, "Oh, they're not going to be there tonight because Charlotte and Andrade are here in my cinema."
Oh, fair enough.
And it looked legit as well. I think it was legit.
Fair enough. Rumble, I reckon. Yeah. An AEW star is set to make their in-ring debut. It's Mariah May. Tony Khan tweeted, "International wrestling star Mariah May, inspired by her idol Timeless Toni Storm, makes her highly anticipated AEW debut versus rising star Queen Anamata tomorrow or tonight on Dynamite." Mariah May. They've done a good job of building intrigue around her, I think, because it's always interesting when there's a wrestler who doesn't immediately just start wrestling. You start to think, well, especially if you've never seen Mariah May wrestle before, you might be thinking, right, what's she going to be like? Is she going to be good?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a relatively slow burn for her. I do expect her to be the one to take the title off of Tony eventually. That's probably 6 months or so from now. If you've not seen her before, she's very, very good. Heaps of charisma. Yeah. I'm really excited to see her.
Came from the UK indie scene, wrestled in Stardom, and I think despite not being, she's not that experienced, but has just made the most of it so far in her short wrestling career.
Yeah, I don't think you'd know it by watching her.
Absolutely. When people are naturally good, it's sickening.
It is.
And finally, speaking of people who were naturally very, very good, and in this instance kind of threw it away, Velveteen Dream has released an apology video. Patrick Clark, formerly known as Velveteen Dream in NXT, released this video to his Instagram page and was released by WWE, of course, in May of 2021, following allegations of misconduct.
Yeah, in it, Clark says that he wants to take full accountability for his behaviour over the last 3 years. He doesn't specifically discuss those behaviours, and obviously there are a lot of rumours, a lot of reports circulating about what he had done, but he said that it was wrong and proceeds to apologise to WWE, Paul Levesque, current head of NXT, Shawn Michaels, and a former co-worker of his at WWE, Shantae the Adonis as well.
Yeah, that was a little bit out of the, I guess, yeah.
Threw him under the bus there a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe you could argue. Yeah, we'll have to. I mean, it's not his fault that Shantae the Adonis is.
No, of course.
But after the video was released, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted that Velveteen Dream, or Patrick Clark, has been looking to do several media interviews after his apology video to Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and others close to him. It's said that he's willing to answer any questions and isn't expecting softball questions. Several of the media have been contacted about doing these interviews. Sounds like he wants to come back to wrestling from that.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I mean, the guy was so unbelievably talented, as you say. Do you reckon he'll get booked? Mexico might do
not by one of the major promotions. NWA probably would. Billy Corgan seems to thrive on hiring quite controversial people, doesn't he?
I think a lot of it depends on how people react to the statement that's been put out has had very much a mixed reaction, and given the allegations against him, that's completely understandable. It probably depends on the reaction to these upcoming media interviews as well, whether or not it happens. I think you look at some of the people that have been named and speaking out, and they still do get booked in various places. So I think he will pick it up. Will WWE take him back? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I was saying just to Matthew the other day that, and obviously it pales in comparison to the importance of what potential victims might have gone through, but he always really annoys me because he had everything.
Yeah, he did.
Had absolutely everything.
I remember you saying early on, literally like 6 months, if that, into his NXT run, like, this guy's a future world champion. And I think a lot of people got on board.
I think I was saying he would main event WrestleMania.
Yeah. And you know what? I think everybody agreed as well. He really, really was so good. So we'll keep you updated on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned for more news later on today as well. And I think it's going out today. We'll be recording a 9 pictures video for wrestling in 2024. It's myself, Andrew, and Adam Pacitti stepping in as well. Have you got your pictures ready?
No.
Oh, God. Look forward to that. Yeah. We're literally recording it in an hour's time. Right, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll wrap it up. Leave your comments down below, and we'll see you very soon.